This is the 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe Caligraphy. Is this the pinnacle of mid-size SUVs? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I borrowed this Santa Fe Caligraphy from my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this particular model, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this particular model is Ecotronic Gray Matte. So it has a finish that basically looks kind of dull, but you know what? There's a lot of people out there that like that. So if this is something to your liking, well, it may be a color you might want to consider. And here on the front end, I have the engine running right now because I wanted you to see, in fact, right on cue. I hope that the camera picked that up. The shutters right here closed. Now they're going to open and close as needed, and it doesn't matter if the vehicle is in motion or not, as you just saw. We'll have full LED lighting, LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, also LED tail lights out back. And you'll notice that that turn signal indicator I have turned on right there, really one of the hazard lights, is an H for Hyundai. So if you're curious about that, well, that's why it looks that way. It is intentional. A very nice look. You'll also find the active air curtains right here. Let's see if we can maybe get you a little bit of a better shot from this particular angle where maybe you can see some of the daylight. There we go, a little bit of that with the air flowing through here to help improve aerodynamics. Now you do have some gloss finish here as we watch those shutters open back up. So there's gloss with certain areas of the front end, with the grille, some of the trim, and even with our 20-inch wheels. And this model, as is typical with a lot of hybrid vehicles, is the fact that it comes without a spare tire. Just something to be aware of. The side view mirrors, they have everything you want. Turn signal indicators built in. They're power, they're heated. They also power fold, and you have your blind spot monitoring built in right there. And just a quick look at the remote right here as far as this model goes. There is everything that you have, and I think it's everything you want, including remote start. That's a very popular feature. Now there are roof rails up top, nice and large. You can buy the crossbars and greatly increase your cargo capacity. Now there is one thing here that you'll find on both sides that you won't find on any other mid-sized SUV out there. And it has to do with this little slot right here. When it's tilted to the side like that, you can put a small key or whatever. I'm pretty sure that this Santa Fe comes with something that you can put in there and actually turn. But what that does is allows you to push this area in right here, and then you can grab onto that and step up onto the tire and gain access to the roof rails up there. As I mentioned, that is not only here on the driver's side, it's also over on the passenger side. And for those who maybe didn't believe me, yes, it is over here, just so you can see it and see that I'm not kidding. And one of the big advantages to this design of the current generation of the Santa Fe is the way everything is so boxy and squared off. It's very easy to see out of all of these windows. They're wide, they're tall, it works really well. And here on the rear, well, you know it's a hybrid because we have the hybrid logo. You also have the H-Track logo right there. That means it's all-wheel drive. There's your Santa Fe logo, and you have that same H design built into your taillights. Under the hood is a 1.6-liter turbocharged four-cylinder. It makes 231 horsepower and 271 pounds-feet of torque. And unlike a lot of hybrid models out there, it does not have a CVT or an eCVT. This combination is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, let's take a look at our MPGs here. Kind of hard to see with the glare, but we're looking at 35 city, 34 on the highway, 34 combined, and 2.9 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. If you're curious to know, you don't have capless fuel fill. For those who are not fans of capless fuel fill, you have the gas cap here, and when you fill up, it's a 17.7 gallon gas tank. When it comes to gaining access to your cargo area, there are a few different ways to do that, including the button right there. This is a power tailgate, by the way. So let's take a look at what we have. 14.6 up to 79.6 cubic feet. You have a couple of buttons right here. What exactly are those for? Well, they will allow you to lower the seats, and they're power because you'll notice that I'm not doing anything. All I'm doing is just I push the buttons and they lower automatically. Now you will want to do that first, because if you don't, then these seats are not going to go down. In fact, we can actually make this an even better situation. There we go. Didn't get that right on the other one. So we can go ahead and pull that back, and there we go. We got the headrest out of the way. That's how everything looks as far as your maximized cargo capacity goes. And we're going to find a power outlet right here, so that's nice to have. And you see the USB right there, the air conditioning and the adjustment for that. That's going to be for your third row of passengers. There's also going to be a 12-volt power outlet right here, and we'll see the rear sunroof. When it comes to the back seat area, there's a few things we'll talk about. Nothing out of the ordinary here with the manual shades that can be put in place. Got some nice trim throughout the vehicle. And I like the lack of gloss black. You have the silver trim right here. That's appropriate on the interior. We have a bottle holder down here that could be used as a bit of a door bin. And a couple of cup holders up here. One important trick I wanted to show you right here, when it comes to bringing these seats back up, you can just push the button right here. Hold that back actually, let that come up. And once it starts to move, notice I'm not holding the button anymore, and the seat back is still going back into place. So if you're curious about that, that's how that works. And one thing about these seats, you can see that they can be set in a couple of different positions right here, because they are going to move back and forth on their tracks. And to gain access to the third row, we're going to just push that button right there. The seat is going to get out of the way. It was already forward. It would move forward otherwise if it needed to. So we'll go ahead and hop into this back seat area and see what it's like back here. In fact, there is one more question that I know people are going to ask about, and that question is whether or not these rear seats recline. And you can see that there is a little bit of recline potential right here. Not a lot, but a little bit. So that's nice to know about. And then how about leg space? Well, the floor is a little bit high for obvious reasons, but I guess that's not terribly bad. I do have a reasonable amount of head space here at 5'10". Now I do have this seat that I'm sitting in reclined back, so let's see what happens if I hop over here onto the other side where it's really at an uncomfortable position. I don't think anybody would ride with it like this, but you can see I don't have as much head space. And here's how we control the fan speed, air conditioning and everything back here. So you can see that. Very easy to deal with, very easy to work with. And you do have, basically, with the exception of the control for the air, the same setup over on the left-hand side with the USB port. And there is a much larger rear sunroof back here, more of a panoramic sunroof than what we have in the front. You do have the conventional size in the front. What's interesting to me is the fact that up there in the front, you have a manual shade, and back here in the rear, you have a power shade. And as expected, to get this seat back in place, push the button right there, and you'll notice that again, I'm not doing anything. The seat back went back, but we will need to move everything back into place just like that. We just shove it back. You can do that manually, not a big deal. Now let's hop on in here into the rear passenger area. We have air conditioning vents right here. So if you're wondering about that, they are here, just maybe not where you might expect them to be. Also USB ports built into the seat backs on both sides. So that's nice to have. And if your rear seat passengers need to gain access to the center console, they can do that from right here, opening from two different directions. Very interesting setup. And there's also additional storage underneath with the drawer right here. We'll also find the more conventional rear seat pockets on the back of each seat. And we can take a look from this vantage point at what that conventional sunroof looks like. It does tilt and slide open, and there is how everything looks with that manual shade in place. And I wanted to show you a couple of things about your power passenger seat. The only thing missing here as far as what's available on the driver's side as well is going to be lumbar support, not here. But what you do have is the ability to raise and lower the seat. That's something that I know some people have asked me about. There you go with that. And then look at what we have right here, something you don't see in a lot of vehicles. And at this price point, that almost seems like something you wouldn't expect. Speaking of price, what is it? $51,555. Let's see what else you get for the price. There's a lot going on here. Now, conventional things such as the armrest and a nice large door bin, there you go. That's what you have. But something that's not so conventional, the UVC sanitizer right here. So what you can do is put things on the tray right there, whatever will fit, and you close that up, and you come down here and you push that button, and it will sanitize whatever is in that area, whatever will fit. A watch, your keys, change, your cell phone, whatever, anything that fits in there. And if I remember correctly, Hyundai recommends 10 minutes of sanitization time. Is that said correctly? I don't know, but I think you get my drift. You also, I don't know how well you can see it because of the bright sunshine today, but you also have a nice head-up display that is adjustable. You have seat memory right here, so a couple of settings for that if you want to use that, 1 and 2. And then you know what all is here as far as the controls go for your side view mirrors that are here, and then your windows here. Now there is one thing I did want to show you. I'm going to push this button right here, and what happens when I do? You can see those power folding mirrors in action. I talked about that earlier in the video, but I didn't actually demonstrate that. When you lock and unlock the vehicle, they will also fold and unfold. Your power parking brake is located right here. You can open and close your power tailgate here and use or turn traction control on and off depending on what you want to do. So, and we'll see illumination right here. So if we want to illuminate more or illuminate less, get that to change a little bit, and that's changing everything on the screens, as you can see right there. At least I think you can see that. I'm going to go ahead and maximize that so it's nice and bright, so that's easy to deal with. A very modern look in the interior, not only with the steering wheel that is nice and comfortable, by the way, but also with your digital instrument display right there. That works really well. And there's a lot going on there besides just showing you what's going on with the engine and things like that. There are different things you can go through depending on what you want to see and know about. Very easy to deal with, by the way. So it's really simple. I don't probably need to tell you too much about it. I don't need to tell you too much about it. Let's say that correctly. That just didn't sound right. But one thing that I want to encourage you to do is use your blinkers. Now, especially on this vehicle, you also can use this lever to control your headlights and taillights. But here's why I say use your blinkers here. When you turn your right turn signal on, your blinker on, you get to see what's in the right side blind spot, and the same with the left. Using the cameras that are built into your side view mirrors, that is really nice. There's also the camera that's built into your rear view mirror. You can use it as a conventional rear view mirror or the camera as it is right there. That has a lot of advantages because it's so much easier to see more of what's going on behind you. And here is our upper console. You can see what all is there in case you were wondering. Here's how I control the power shade for the rear sunroof, and then here's how we can open and close the front sunroof up here in this area. Now this is your shifter. So here's what happens. To go into reverse, you twist it back. To go into drive, you twist it forward, and then you have park right there. Now, I did want to go back into reverse here because it's easy to show you what's going on here. And there's one very interesting thing here that I'm going to show you here in just a second, but I like all of the different camera views. You have multiple camera views overhead. You have your side view mirror cameras. You have the rear view camera mirror right there. That is really nice. So, one thing that's interesting here, a lot of people have said that this generation of the Santa Fe looks like the Land Rover Defender. Well, I'll tell you one thing that the Land Rover Defender can't do. You can't see every angle as you can here. It does have a 360-degree surround view camera, but you can't move it as easily. It's not as responsive, by my experience, as what we have here in this Santa Fe. It makes it very easy to take a look at what's going on around you. You can also go into your settings right there if you need to and do whatever you need to do. Now, you can scroll over here like this. You have a few more icons and options. Now you might say it doesn't look like there's as much here as there should be. Well, go into setup right here and you'll find what you're looking for. And there is plenty going on here. So depending on what you need to go and do, you've got vehicle navigation, sound. You can see what all is there. You can wirelessly pair your smartphone, so all of that's going to be there. Very simple, but it looks really good. Don't let the high-tech look of this interior fool you and scare you off and make you say, man, that's too much for me. I'll never learn it. I'll never use all of it. You might be surprised at how much you use. And we do have physical controls here for the air conditioning, and as far as your temperature goes, you can see that we have that right here, pretty easy to deal with where that is concerned. And for your stereo, your radio here with the volume button right there, and you can surf through your stations, change stations right there, and you can see some of the other one-touch buttons right here. Now, one thing that is very interesting here that you definitely will have a hard time finding in other mid-size SUVs. Let me get that correct. And I apologize for that change in scene right there. Battery died, had to change it out real quick. But I was telling you about the wireless phone charging pads right here. There's actually two, one here and one here. Let me put my phone over here so that you can see that there are two. This is something I wish more automakers would do. Instead of just having one, why not have two? There's a lot of vehicles out there that have room for that. Now, we'll also find everything here. Well, let's just go over a couple more things here as far as the controls. I don't really need to tell you too much about it because I'm showing you what's here. But in case you were wondering, there are your cup holders, and within the center console there is a reasonable amount of space. And like I said, see, you can open it both ways. That's a very interesting thing. I don't think I've seen that in any other vehicle. And what is it like to drive this Santa Fe Hybrid? Well, it has a nice, comfortable ride quality. The steering is very responsive. I'd say it's very precise. That's a good way to describe it, a good word to describe it. With the comfortable ride quality and the comfortable seats, a great vehicle for taking a long road trip. Should do you very well where that's concerned. And the acceleration might be a little bit of a surprise to some people. When you need to get up and go, it definitely will do it. That's not a problem. I'm going to have to slow down a little bit to get back to the speed limit or thereabout. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's easy to see out of, but you also have the advantage of your mirror that you can use as a camera. You also have the advantage of blind spot monitoring built into your side view mirrors. And so that really helps a lot. No issues where that's concerned. If you're looking for a vehicle and you live in an area where you deal with a lot of snow and ice, this is also a great choice, especially with all-wheel drive. That's going to make a big difference. And the ride height helps as well. So not too high, but not too low at the same time. Being a mid-size SUV, I've driven others that do sit a little higher off the ground. So for those of you who may not want something like that, not a big deal. The gas pedal and the brake pedal are very easy to deal with, to handle. They operate very well, not a difficult adjustment. And then I like the fact that you have a lot of ability to adjust things here with the driver's seat, not only with the seat itself, but with the steering wheel being tilt and telescopically adjustable. If you're 6'3" or 6'4", you're going to fit here in this driver's seat with no problem. You can adjust things down to whatever you need. And I'm sure there's even some of you who are that tall who can tell us what your experience has been. But there's a lot of room left to improve things, to grow, so to speak here. But a very well-rounded vehicle, fun to drive, great for multiple climates, the nice long road trips. There's quite a bit going on here. It just depends on what it is you're looking for, on whether this is a fit for you or not. And when you turn your Santa Fe off, here is what you get. The graphics and a little bit of music. It's here, I might as well show you. So tell me what you think about the 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid Caligraphy. Is it the pinnacle of mid-size SUVs? If you're cross-shopping the Honda Pilot, one thing that is dramatically different between the two is that the Pilot does not offer a hybrid powertrain, so there's something to think about. Tell me what your thoughts are on this particular model. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this Santa Fe for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe, that way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.